Good afternoon. Uh, Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all of you. On behalf of the Professional Development Committee of the Western India Regional Council, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I welcome all of you for the webinar series on Cost Audit Jnana Satra. Our today's first session is on aluminium industry, and our speaker CMA Niranjan Mishra sir, former Central Council member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India and practicing cost accountants. I welcome sir. I also welcome our Western India Regional Council Chairman sir, CMA Mihir Vyas sir. Welcome sir. And now I request sir to kindly address the opening remarks please.
Thank you, Pujanka madam. Good
Thank you sir.
afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. This side CMA Mihir Vyas, Chairman of ICMAI-WRC. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful webinar. On behalf of WRC and the PD Committee of ICMAI-WRC, I would like to extend a really hearty welcome to our today's speaker, CMA Niranjan Mishra sir, for accepting our invitation on webinar series on Cost Audit Gyan Satra's Season 1 on aluminum industry. Thank you so much, sir, for being here and will share your knowledge. Also, I would like to appreciate the effort of CMA Arindam Goswami sir, PD Committee Chairman, and my all the office bearer and council colleague of ICMA WRC. Finally, I also would like to welcome all the our present here for making this event more valuable and helping for grand success. Before we start, I request Pujanga madam can kindly share the video of this cost audit Gyan Satra webinar so everyone will know the which industry cover or not cover. This is a not a perfect list. We will add more and more industry after this.
1 second sir, I will share.
Pujanka voice is not audible. Mhm.
Sir, 1 second, I will check sir.
No, it's a Pujanka. If there is a voice issue, then you can show it after the end of the seminar.
Okay sir. Okay.
Thank you so much, Pujanga madam. Niranjan sir, please go ahead with your knowledge. Everyone is waiting for to listen you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Pujanga Madam. Thank you very much, Team WHC. Special thanks to Chairman Mir Bachi and Arindam Goswami and all learned people, those are available here. Senior members are also available here, like Edia sir and other people. I know very well the people available here, so need not require to introduce each and everybody. But this is a learning session. I think it is the second time WS is organizing this type of series of cost audit webinars. Earlier it was in the second year of WSC when I think Arindam Goswami was the chairman. I was also deliberated on cost audit in mining sector. I think on 6th January 2024. So it is my second deliberation for the team WSC. So all are available here. So I would share basically I would share all my what I exposure in the aluminum industry in the last 9 years of cost audit in one leading aluminum manufacturer of our country. And also in Vedanta and Indalco, I got some work also related to the cost, cost elements, cost statements, and other related matters. So before going to the slide sharing, I want to tell this is the aluminum is the second largest product which is contributing to the India GDP. And overall, if we see the India share in globally, it is the second largest manufacturer of aluminum. So I'm sharing my slide. If you have any doubt, then you can note it, and you can also tell me in the question and session. Is it
Yes, sir,
Yes,
it's
sir. Yes.
visible, sir.
Visible,
Okay.
sir, visible.
so in the agenda? Before going to the details of the slide presentation, I want to come through the agenda. This is the contents of my webinar today deliberation. We'll start from introduction. Second is aluminum production, cost structure and cost drivers. Then process of manufacture. All the three are related things before going for the cost audit. As you know, there is cost audit standards applicable for the cost accounting, those are in practice. So if we go to the cost audit standards, then we can see what is the requirement of the cost audit standards. We have to know about the company, about the organization structure, about the process of manufacture, about the delegation powers, about the hierarchy, so about the management, everything we have to know. So I have divided into three parts, basically about the aluminum industry, aluminum production, process of manufacture, and introduction. In second part, we'll go to the cost centers, cost statements, sub cost centers, and in finally we'll go to the approaching cost audit roadmap intricacies. Then finally we'll go to the audit objections. What we have observed in our 9 years of cost audit in one leading manufacturing industry of aluminum. So let us go one by one. As we discussed, it is one of the strategic and critical metal because it is mostly used in the defense other than the utensils, household utensils, other than the transmission electricity, distribution electricity. It is also used in the aviation sector, defense sector, and aerospace engineering. So that's why it is treated as a strategic and critical metal. It is the second most consumed metal in India after steel. If you see the contribution of aluminum manufacturing to the GDP of our country, it is about 2%. It is, if you see the per capita consumption of aluminum, it is 2.2 to 2.5 kg. Global average is 8 to 11 kg. But we have seen there's a demand growth because there's a of the government, there's a development of the infrastructure, power generation plant, and basically in renewable energy, aluminum plates are required, packaging industry and transport sectors. So there's a demand growth. And if you see the leading producer, who are the leading producer of aluminum, so China stood at 60%. But if you compare the other countries, those are producing manufacture, though India stands at second position of aluminum producer, but it is only 6%. The total production of the aluminum in globe. China 60%, India 6%, Russia 5%, Canada 4%, EU 4%, and so on. Though we is the second largest manufacturing produce country of the world, but we are at only 6%, against the China's production of 60%. But there is a demand in our country due to rapid growth in the infrastructure sector, power sectors, and aviation sector, defense sector. There is a need of the aluminium. So that's why mostly we are importing aluminium from other countries, China, Australia, we are importing. Basically, we are importing scraps, not exactly bauxite or alumina. We are importing scraps, aluminum scraps, which is used along with alumina in the smelting plant to produce the hot metal. We'll discuss later on about all these, how these products are mixed, how scrap are mixed with the calcium alumina. We'll discuss when we'll discuss about the hot metal in the aluminum smelting plant. So if you see the growth potential, there is a demand of aluminium, and it is increasing day by day. Earlier it was 4.5 MT in the year 2024, but there is an estimation it will be touching about 9 million ton by the year 2033. So what are the key drivers of the growth? Basically, if you see the key drivers of growth, one is massive development in the infrastructure and power sector. And second is where the largest producers of aluminium. Because if you see the production trend, we'll go in the next slide. If you see the production trend, we have 4 top manufacturers in our country. Number 1 is Vedanta, number 2 then Hindalco, then Balco, then Nalco. 4 top manufacturers of aluminum in our country. So we'll go discuss detail in the second slide. The consumption pattern of aluminum. If you see the consumption pattern, power and electrical sector, basically transmission and distribution sector, they are consuming about 48% of the total production. Next to power and electrical, there is more consumption in the automobiles and transport sector, which also includes the aerospace. Third is construction sector, 13%. And like that, consumer durable 7%, machinery 7%, other 6%. This is the consumption pattern of aluminum in our country. So these are the leading aluminum producers of our country: Hindalco, Nalco, Balco, then Century Extrusion Limited, Powering, then Arpin India Limited, Jindal Aluminium, Vedanta Aluminium, Balco. So these are the top leading aluminum producers in our country. So we see the market share of the top aluminum producers. I have considered only 4 top aluminum producers. Number 1 is Vedanta, which is about 43% of the market share. Hindalco, 32%. Then Balco, 14%. Nalco is 11%. And this is the production pattern I have downloaded from the website. The Nalco production figure was with me, and other I have downloaded from the website. And if I see the trend, there is an increasing trend in comparison to the previous year, 24-25, sorry, 23-24, which is 22-23. Now come to the aluminum production. Basically, when we are telling about the production and manufacturing, aluminum is not manufactured or produced. It is just one chemical reaction taken place while converting alumina to aluminium, bauxite to alumina, then alumina to aluminum. Basically, these are all chemical reactions and chemical process. So nothing is manufactured here. Only due to some chemical reactions, adding some value-added alkalis and other chemicals, nature and the color is changed. So it is not manufactured like we are telling manufactured steel, but aluminum not manufactured. Aluminum is smelted in the smelter. Only come in the process of manufacture above this, how it is smelted in the smelter. If you see the total cost structure of aluminium, it starts with bauxite. So basically bauxite and power, both are the key cost components of total cost of 1 MT of aluminium. If you see the bauxite, it is about 35%. Here it is, I have mentioned 47.36%. So that includes bauxite and anodes, aluminum fluoride. All this constitutes about 47.36%. All the materials required to convert the bauxite from convert the aluminum from bauxite to aluminum. It is about 37.36% of the cost I have taken from the cost sheet of 1 year of one leading manufacturer of our country. Then come to the utility. Utility constitutes about 40.48. Out of 40.48, only power constitutes about 35%. So balance is about the steam and fuel. Fuel means we are using LDO or we are using HFO. Oh, the details we'll discuss in the cost sheet. We'll discuss about the cost sheet. We'll discuss one by one. So time given is for 2 hours. So I hope by that time I will complete all my slides. If something will be left, the slide will be shared with all the participants or the WHC. They can supply to the participants. And in the question session, we can also discuss anything is coming to mind. You can also ask questions. So I am ready to respond. And if I am not responding instantly, then I will also send my response to WHC later. So coming to this cost structure, so 47.3% is the raw material and power and fuel, which is regarded the part of our terminal of our cost sheet, which will reach 40.48%, and employee cost. Employee cost includes all the direct and indirect benefits as per the CS7, cost of standard 7
Okay.
of the.
இது பண்ணிட்டேன் கிளாஸ்
about
பண்ணிட்டேன் அப்பாட்ட வாங்கிட்டேன்
it is about 6.5%. Overheads, it includes administrative expenses and factory overheads, floor expenses, floor level expenses, all indirect expenses, 1.43%, and nutrition 1.63%. So basically, if you see the total cost structure, only raw material and utilities, they constitute about 88%. So what are the key cost drivers? What are the key cost drivers? So these are the key cost drivers because we have no control on the selling price of aluminium because the price is fixed by the LME, London Metal Exchange. So we cannot go beyond the price fixed by the London Metal Exchange, LME. So you must be knowing the LME is deciding the selling price of aluminium, copper, zinc, nickel, cobalt, and similar some other items. So LME is fixing the price. So that means we have to see the cost of production should be there should some margin, profit margin plus cost of production because we have no control over the selling price. So only thing we have to control on the cost of production. Again, if you come to cost of production, only we are seeing the material and power. Second alternative, energy prices and sources. Because if we are not having our captive power generation plant, or we are not switching over to the renewable source of energy, then it is very difficult to survive in the market. Because I have seen some companies, those are not having their own bauxite mines, own alumina plant, and they are importing alumina and bauxite and converting bauxite to alumina and then alumina to aluminium. It will costly much for them. I have seen when Vedanta, and you must be knowing the out of the total production of aluminium, or total available reserves in the bauxite in our country, Odisha is the undisputed leader. Odisha captures about 60% of the aluminum production and reserves of the bauxite in our country. So I have seen when there was a dispute in the bauxite mines of Vedanta at Lanjigod of Kolan district. At that time, they are importing alumina from outside. There are no authorities for Vedanta to produce aluminum because they have set up their aluminum plant at Jharsuguda, but they are not having any bauxite. That time they are importing alumina, and the cost was very high. Cost was very high, and that they are incurring losses. But now, distributed sector, they are having their own alumina plant at Lanjigod, and they are also procuring bauxite from the Odisha Mining Corporation. So now they are top and they are also earning profit. So three co-drivers are the energy and power. So if these are not owned by the company, if they are not controlled by the company, then it is difficult for the aluminum manufacturers, aluminum producers company to survive. Then come to the what are the other key co-drivers? Third is specific alloy grade. Because you see, there is some other than preparing the from hot metal, standard ingot, then show ingot, then wire rod, billet, all are manufactured. These are standard products. And if the company is not diversifying, if the company is not adding any value added products to its end product, it will be difficult to get more margin. So there are some cold roll mill, the rolled product, which are used at the sheet are used for aircrafts for the body making. So these are manufactured some company, and again anodizing, power coating, they are all essence for the aluminum producers. Now come to the processor manufacturer. So in processor manufacturer, I have briefly mentioned here. The detailed processor manufacturer will go in the next slide. So it is mining. So here, if I consider for the mining, then there are two types of mining are there. Suppose for power, if companies are having their own coal mines, then coal is mining for the captive generation of power. Then if the company is having their own mines for bauxite, then mining also applicable there. So mining means either coal mining or bauxite mining. See the mining. Then crossing. So we are getting the ore, bauxite ore or coal from the mines, but they are not the desirable size, very big size. So they have to cross, they have to pulverize as per the requirement of the concerned plant. For the coal, the captive generation, captive thermal generation plant, the size is there. For the preliminary refining, the size is there. So the receiving, they have to be crossed. Then alumina refining. In alumina refining, there are two types of product. First, aluminum hydrate is prepared. Then from the aluminum hydrate, there is a calcination. The aluminum hydrate is wet. Then it is dried and powder form calcined alumina is prepared. It is one step. Mining, then refining. Then come to the smelting. Smelting means what we have discussed earlier. Smelting means it is not a manufacturing process. It is an innovative process. We'll discuss in detail when we'll discuss about the process manufacturing in the next slides. So in the smelting, in the triodide bath, there is a aluminum powder, calcium alumina, then current is passed to that. Then due to this chemical reaction, the hot metal is produced. So this is the alumina smelting. But for this alumina smelting, another item is required, that is anode, cathode and anode. We'll discuss also there. Then after that, there's casting. From hot metal, for the various products, mold is there. So for standard ingot, there's a mold. For show ingot, there's a mold. For wire rod, there's a mold. So this hot metal for the casting purpose, through that mold, the end products are prepared. Then come to the rolling. We have discussed the rolling and aluminum alloying. These are the value-added products. Because in casting, we can get the end products. Those are normal products like show ingot, standard ingot, then your wire billets. But if you are going for the customization, if you are going for the variation, then we have to go for the gold product or aluminum alloying products. This is the process of manufacture. So this is the process manufacture in detail. So I also, it was very difficult for me when I was the auditor in 2003 and 4, National Aluminium Company Limited, NALCO. It was very difficult for me to understand the plant, this alumina flow chart, process manufacture. And you must be knowing, those are here prior to 2011, those have done the cost audit, industry specific cost audit, those have conducted. This type of process manufacture was required to be forming part of the cost audit report. I don't know how many people are there. So this was the part of the cost audit report, process of manufacture, which one write-up. So this is the alumina plant. Flow, you see, bauxite is coming. Then primary crusher, bauxite is crossed. So if we see the bauxite size, we'll discuss again in another slide. It is less than 1.3 mm. Because it is more than 1.3 mm. It can be crossed in the secondary crusher. 1.3 mm size will be come to the alumina refinery plant. And basically, if you see the contents of the bauxite, basically silica is there. And if there is more silica contents in the bauxite, then more bauxite will be consumed, number one. And more caustic soda will be consumed because caustic soda is acting like alkali, which is removing the silica portion from the bauxite. So that is in the form of red mud. If you see the red mud, it's a red mud pond, that is red mud pond. Red mud pond, all the this red mud and waste materials and silica contents are left in the hydrated part of the next process. This from the red mud written washed in the bare process, then it's the consideration covered. We'll discuss it later on there in the next slide. So this is the process of manufacture. I mean the red mud pond, then precipitators. Your hydrated product is we are getting the hydrated product. After this process, we are getting the hydrated product. Then here is the then it is dried. After that, you are getting the calcined alumina that is called alumina in powder form. And to dry this hydrated liquid, we have to give the steam from the steam plant. There is a steam generation plant which is also operated like thermal generation plant. It also require coal to prepare the steam, and the steam is then recycled. If there is a loss, steam is recycled to produce the electricity also. The steam generation plant. This is the alumina silos, calcined alumina, aluminum powder. This is in the powder form. Then it will go to the smelter plant to the wagons, salted wagons. So this is the alumina plant flow chart. Can you go to the next? Hello, can you go to the next slide? Anybody, please? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Please go
Okay.
ahead.
So this is the smelter process because smelter means I told earlier, this is not manufactured or not produced. This is just smelting process. You can go to the dictionary. Smelting means chemical reactions converting alumina to aluminium. So this is the alumina we have left at wagon at the previous slide. So now wagon is coming. Then alumina is unloading here. Then through the belt conveyor it is coming. Then it's coming to alumina field to the pot cell. The pot cell, will discuss about the pot cell. It constitutes this anode, this anode stem and a cathode one blocks. Then the alumina is fed. So that's purely bath aluminum chloride. Then electricity is passed. It is 232. You see 232 kV. 232 kV electricity is charged. Then this is converted to aluminum, like hot metal, molten aluminum. Then either this is collected in the bottom of the pot line, or is transported to the trucks or any vehicles to the cast house. This is the process. And we have discussed about this anode. You see CP. Then we'll discuss on this anode. We'll discuss in the next slide. So there was about the smelter flow sheet. Alumina is the smelter flow sheet. And you see the cast house, strip coil, billets, wire rod, sewing rod, and standard rod. Here prepared. This strip coil is the standard product for aluminum industry. Now we'll go one by one for all the locations, all the cost, all the key code drivers. We'll go one by one. So basically, if we discuss about the first cost centers, that is mining. So mining, we will discuss about the coal mining and bauxite mining parallelly because the process is same. In bauxite mining, if you see the mining, then there are the three types of activity. One is the pre-production activity, second is the production activity, third is your post-production activity. So what is the pre-production activity? So that is already over. When you have taken up the audit, at that time pre-production activities were over for both the companies. But if you should know what is the pre-production activity. One is getting the title or a lease of the mine, then core drilling to assess the reserves in vertically and horizontally under the earth. Then mine planning, there's a mine plan approved by the CMPDI for the coal industry and other industry that is also approved by the competent authority. And approval of the mines. After that, we have to go for the deforestation, then environmental clearance, then city and CTO. Consent to establish and consent to operate. City means consent to establish, CTO means consent to operate. Consent to establish will start first. Then after all these pre-production activities are complied, like lease is obtained, drilling obtained, reserves assessed, mine plan approved, deforestation activity approved, rehabilitation taken place, compensation given, environmental clearance given, pollution control certificate also received, then CTO will start. That is consent to operate. Then production activity will start. So in production activity, there are basically some important activity will be discussed. Unless I will left because time is very short. So first, site preparation and bench development. What is site preparation? Because in the core drilling, because in core drilling time, only the length, breadth, or area that will be assessed. But when company will start extracting the ore from the mother earth, at that time you have to see the hard extent, you have to drill horizontally and vertically. In that case, they have to work on the site preparation. Say that 5 acres of land. Say they will first focus on half acre or 1 acre. In that 1 acre, 3 to 4 places they will drill and they will find out the how much reserves are there, how many, which quality of which grades of the ore is there, they will assess. These are site preparation and bench development. Then come to the overburden separation. As you know, some materials like bauxite, there is overburden. In iron ore mines, there is less overburden. There is a chrome ore mine, there is more overburden. So the overburden depends upon the minerals. The overburden ratio is not same as in the case of coal, or not same as in the case of chromite, or as not the same as in the case of iron or bauxite. So overburden is there because overburden, unless and until the company remove the overburden, the ore cannot be extracted. So overburden will be extracted. Overburden means the top soil. Overburden is the top soil of the ore. Then drilling and blasting after overburden is separated, then drilling is done, then blasting is done, then excavation. After that, there is some machinery. I am telling you, you must be knowing that some heavy earth moving machinery like HMM, like dumper, dozer, drag liner, shovel, all these name you must have heard. So these are used for all mining operations, maybe at the overburden removal or maybe at the ore extraction. Used all these 4-5 machines are used. Those have done the coal industry audit, they must be knowing all these machines name. Then screening, because when the ore is extracted, the required size, required grade, because sometimes big fines are obtained, ore fines, and sometimes big size metals are obtained, that's called lumps. So then what is happening? Then after skinning, this crossed to the desired size. Then after sampling, high sampling is done because we need say silica contents less than 5%. But when we have done the sampling, when we have the quality analysis, we found silica content is 6%. So we have to blend. When there is a less than 5% silica content there in the bauxite, we have to blend the bauxite having more than 6% silica contents. Other than it will consume more power, it will consume more bauxite in the process. So sampling is required, then OMment, then transportation to the stockyard, then exploration, then stacking of ore and dispatch. These are the things. Let's come to the another critical process is that mine closure. So you must be knowing mine closure are of two types. One is progressive mine closure, second is permanent mine closure. So progressive mine closure is run parallelly with the production activity, is not at the end. Suppose, for example, overall removed or extracted. So immediately company has to backfill the portion from where the ore was extracted. So after backfilling, they have to also plant the tree. That is specified in the mining plan. To the extent you are disturbing Mother Earth, to that extent you have to cover, you have to backfill, you have to plant, you have to do the plantation, or you have to create some other activity without harming the environment. So that's why in the mining plan, there is specifically mentioned to what extent progressive mine closure will be there during the production activity. And we know permanent mine closure means the mining closure is completed. Then in that case, company has to go for the permanent mine closure. Either they have to pay the land or they have to do something for the betterment of the community. And for the mine closure, price is fixed by the IBM, Indian Bureau of Mines. You must be heard the name, Indian Bureau of Mines. That fixes the mine closure cost. Mine closure cost, they IBM fixed, and that depends upon the mine to mine, area to area, and on the basis of on the hectares or acres, size, location, and ore. They fix the mine closure cost, how much to be booked to the cost, and accordingly they have to deposit the money with the government. They have to make the provision in the books, and they have to deposit the same amount with the government. The mining activity. So we have discussed mining activity. Let's come to the mining process. You see, specifically coming to the bauxite, we have discussed overburden or topsoil is removed due to its high organic and iron contents. Within the bauxite mines, the topsoil is topsoil contains more iron, so it is explored. Then land clearing, then drilling and blasting, then ore extraction. We have discussed all these things in a previous slide. Ore extraction, then tossing to the desert site, then transport to the refinery. We have seen this flow chart in the retail aluminum flow chart. We have also discussed in the previous slide about the mining operation. What we have discussed, I have written here in a lucid manner. Overall is removed, bauxite is analyzed to determine the quality. We have discussed about the quality because quality is uncertain. To use directly, or we have to follow the blending process, mix with the low grade with the high grade. Then strategic planning, proper blending we have discussed. Excavated bauxite is loaded into the dumpers at the mine site. Dumpers unload bauxite at the primary crusher to reduce ore size for easier belt transport. So primary crusher is at mining site because conveyor can carry bauxite ore in size, different size. So if they have big size, then they have to cross it to the desired size. Desired size means not to the requirement of the refinery plant, but they have to make it small size. And crossage is established near the mines area. So after passing to the primary crusher, it comes to the conveyor. Characterized bauxite is sent to the alumina refinery via long cable belt conveyors. So if you see the cost control mechanism, there's a lot of cost control mechanism we will discuss in the observation side, that is 3 to 4 of slide, which I have given the observation while doing the cost audit in last 9 years. So these are the. Then comes the refinery. We have seen the refinery process chart. Bauxite received, stacked, reclaimed, crossed. Here crossed. What is crossed? Again crossed in the second aggressor. Because the size required for the aluminum production is less than 1.3 mm. If that is more than 1.3 mm, then they have to again cross in the second aggressor. Ground mixed with caustic soda in the ball mill. So why caustic soda is required? Because we have discussed in aluminum, if we'll go to a little more structure in the last slides about the aluminum caustic, hydrate caustic, alumina caustic, mines caustic will go one by one. So I'm going very quickly. So because I will share all the slides to all of you through WSC. So caustic soda is required to remove the silica content. So silica, if you see the silica contents, so that the ideal bauxite mines, silica content should be less than 5%. If marginal bauxite mines, silica content is more than 5% to 8%. If you are consider the uneconomical bauxite mines, it is more than 80%. So if more than 80%, somebody is getting bauxite mines to extract bauxite and to set up alumina plant. And if we are going by the sampling, and silica content more than 80%, so go for that bauxite mines. And if you see the silica contents, silica content is more dangerous for the aluminum industry. So that's why caustic soda is required to mix with the bauxite to remove the silica contents from the bauxite. And these silica contents depend on the industry and depend on the mine to mine. NALCO is using the bauxite from their Pachukti mines from the Koraput district. The silica content is about 3 to 4%. But most dynamic aluminum producer, Utkal Alumina, that is Hindalco, they are having one mine. They are having the mine from which the bauxite is extracted, having silica content of only 1.4%. So their bauxite efficiency is good. But if you compare the efficiency of the bauxite in the Hindalco or Utkal Alumina in comparison to Vedanta, Nalco and Balco, so it is better. Then these are the process. This slurry is prepared after this mixing of the caustic soda with the crushed bauxite. Then desilicated means silica is removed. Quartz is removed in sand cyclone. So quartz is removed in sand cyclone is silicated at 100 degrees centigrade. Then settlers separate aluminum-rich liquor more washed in 7 stages to recover soda. Because you see, this caustic soda is used for the recovery to remove the silica from the alumina. But after that, that can be also reused. That's why this mud, red mud, in the red mud pond, when the red mud is settled, that mud is washed in 7 stages to recover the caustic soda, which is utilized again in the first bullet point. Then after that, red mud is sent to the red mud ponds. So this clear liquor, what we are discussing in the third slide, that clear liquor is filtered, and this is in this stage, hydrate is prepared. This hydrate cake washed and partly used as seed. For the remaining hydrate, alumina hydrate is liquid form, so it is calcined to alumina, then stored in silos and dispatched to Vizag and Ongul. Because they are having the port facility at Vizag, and in Ongul they are having smelter plant. So why we are discussing here one by one? Because in mines, suppose in case there is no requirement of the aluminium, there is market demand reducing. Suppose there is some major shutdown in the smelting plant, major shutdown in the calcination plant. So in that case, if there is surplus mines, so mines can be also sold. Mines can be capitally consumed, bauxite ores, and bauxite ores can be also sold. So capital consumption also happens at mines point, at hydrate point, not alumina point, because sometimes also there is no requirement, there is a shutdown, so there is no requirement at the end use. So hydrogen also sold and alumina also sold. So if there is a intention to sell, intention to export, intention to for the domestic sales, so they are selling through the airport, because the refinery plant is at Damanjodi. So Vizag is about 100 kilometers, 120 kilometers from Damanjodi. So they are dispatching to Vizag if there is a intention of export or domestic sales, and to Angul for the smelting plant. This is the view of alumina refining plant. So the whole what I discussed in previous slide, the crossing and grinding, their ball milling, digestion and desilication, then separation, water separation, then precipitation, then filtration, then calcination. So calcination point is the alumina powder, and in the separation point, hydrate to red mud. Come to the aluminium smelting process. So in aluminium smelting process, we have discussed, we have we'll start from alumina received from refinery plant at smelting plant. Then in the pot line, that's called pot line. So there is a cryolite. Cryolite means there's a aluminum fluoride, molten cryolite, aluminum fluoride undergoes electrolytic decomposition in reduction cells with carbon anodes and steel cathodes. So that is just electrical and chemical reactions. That current decomposes alumina into aluminum and oxygen. When oxygen reacts with carbon anodes to form CO and CO2, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, while molten aluminum collects at the cell bottom and is tapped. So these 1 to 3 points, they are the relating to the smelting process from alumina to aluminum. So what are required here? In first point, we require alumina, we require cryolite, aluminum fluoride we require alumina and cryolite, aluminum fluoride. Then we require electrolytic decomposition in hydrogen cells. That is anode. We require anode. That means one is alumina, second is aluminum fluoride, third is anodes. In first phase, these are materials. In second phase, power is required to decompose alumina into aluminum. Third point, chemical reaction and hot metal is produced, which is tapped at the bottom. You have seen from this picture, the hot metal is the molten aluminum. When aluminum is processed in furnaces and casting units, ingots, wire rods, billets we have discussed, alloys to produce finished products or other aluminium products for industrial applications. This is the aluminum smelting process. The overview is what I discussed, the aluminum feeding, then cryolite bath, aluminum feeding to the pot line where there is a cryolite bath provided. Then electrolytic reduction in pot lines by use of the cathodes and anodes, anode stream, collection of molten aluminum, tapping into molten aluminum, then casting, then finished aluminum products. Your cast house, they call cast house, where the molten aluminum is prepared. Molten aluminum is used to prepare the finished products, like we discussed standard ingot, slow ingot, or any alloying products. So here, other than the like bauxite, refinery, and smelting, we have discussed fourth is captive power process. So I told initially because the key cost components are bauxite and power, which constitutes about 88% of the total cost, 87% of the total cost, raw materials and power. So company has to give more thrust on the cost reduction in both the components. Now coming to the captive power process. So in captive power process, companies having coal-based thermal plants. So there they receive the coal. They receive the coal. Then coal is pulverized and born in boilers to produce high pressure steam. So those have done the cost audit of power sector. They must have seen coal is required as per the grade. If you see the classification of coal, as per the organic classification, we know that there is anthracites, bituminous, subbituminous, and lignite. Basically, there are 4 types of coal are available in India. Anthracite coal is rarely available because that is available in Australia, and people are importing from Australia to mix with the domestic coal of bituminous or subbituminous characteristics for the dairy plant and the steel plants. So basically in India, bituminous and subbituminous coals are available, but in power plant, mostly the subbituminous coal are used. If we go by the gradation classification in the coal contest in our country, so there are about 17 grades of coal, grade 1 to grade 7, and there is a 300 gross calorific GCV. They call it the GCV means kg per kilocalorie. So 300 GCV is different in each grade. Say highest grade is more than 7,000 GCV. 7,000 GCV. 7,000 GCV means 7,000 kilocalorie per kg. So 7,000 GCV is the highest, that is G1. But if you see the aluminum industries, we are discussing about these 4 top manufacturing industries. Those are utilizing coal for their thermal power generation. Basically, aluminum, Nalco is using G13 coal. And if you see the Endco, they are using G11 and G12 grade coal. G11 and G12 is much better than the G13 grade coal. And we can take coal as per our wish, because when company is starting the production, they are asking the Coal India or the subsidiary, maybe here the Mahadi Coal Film MCL, they will ask some link coal supply, or we have to go for mine leasing for the coal mines. So Nalco recently got one coal mine leasing from Coal India, that is quality. So they are having that now all coal mines. Earlier they were importing from Mahadi Coal Limited. Similarly, other companies, either they have linkage coal or they have got some leasing coal leasing plant. So they are taking coal, and they cannot take coal haphazardly, because what is given to them, they have to coal from that kind of that type only. If they are not satisfied, they can import the coal, or they can go for other high grade of coal from outside. So coal is linked. So there and why coal is we are discussing more about the coal. If the grade is 17 or grade is 15 or grade is 16, so GCB is gross calorific or less. And if the gross calorific less means the burning capacity, the energy efficiency will be less if the grade is 17. But grade 1 is better, grade 2 is also less than the better, like that. G1, G2, G3 up to G7. There are 17 grades of coal available in our country. So basically, what I discussed about the top aluminum manufacturers of our country, they are utilizing from G11 to G13 grade. So though G13 grade is better, but it also sometimes the step from the same mines, G14, G15 grades also. I mean, so in that case, what is happening? They have to blend the coal with the high grade with the low grade. And if the coal grade is more like G17 or G15, then more fuel is required to burn the coal. More HFO will be required or more LDO will be required. That's why coal grade is vital to increase the to increase the energy efficiency, to increase the boiling efficiency. Otherwise, what will happen? More fuel will be consumed and there will be more bottom mass instead of energy efficiency. So coal is required. The coal is required. So if the company is procuring coal from outside, then either coal will be transported from the mines area to the railway or to the truck. The coal is transported. After coal is transported, the coal is received at the captive power point. Then at the captive power plant, the coal is then coal is crushed, coal is pulverized in the coal mills. So after coal is shipped, then there is a coal mill. Then coal is handled. Then after coal handling, it will come to the boiler. So we'll discuss one by one. Coal mill pulverized means up to the desired size. If you see the what is the like 1.3 mm size, is the best size for the bauxite for converting to aluminum hydrate and alumina. Similarly, 0.25 to 0.3 mm coal size is required for the boilers. So coal is pulverized and burned in boilers. So more than 2.5 to 3.3 mm coal size we cannot pour into the boilers. So this is the coal is pulverized and burned in boilers to produce high pressure steam. Because high pressure steam is required to move the turbines. So here, what are the cost control area? One is receiving the coal. Second is higher grade of coal. Third is coal handling. So at the time of coal handling, there must be some loss, handling loss. So handle the coal to control the coal handling loss. Then in the coal mill, if the size is much more and if it contains the foreign particles like other stone or like iron contents or any foreign particles, it will damage to the coal mill. So again, before coal mill coming to the coal mill, it has to be screened. Then it comes to the coal mill. Like the size is not adequate or proper, then it will create difficulty in the boiler. So cost control is that mines area, mines area, then transportation from mines to coal receiving point, coal stacking, coal mill, coal handling plant, then your boiler. In boiler, coal is fed, and along with the boiler, with the coal, fuel is also fed, HFO or LDO. Then water is required. Water. Another point is that in captive power plant, the company must have water sources. Because water is required. That steam will prepare from the water after the coal is born. Then from the water, steam will be prepared. That steam will move the turbines. So then there is some treatment also there, water, raw water, then water will be clarified, and that is called the water treatment plant is there. So there are a lot of process in the captive process. Because this session is for aluminum industry, I'm not going in detail about the captive power plant or but I can detail because I also some exposure in this captive power plant. Time is a bit short, so I am going one by. I'm going not going in detail. So coal cross, coal pulverized, then boilers, steam preparation, then generation. So generation, power generated, power generated at 11 kV transformers. Then it is step up to the 132 kV transformers, 132 kV line. Then it is transmitted to the transmission lines of the state or the Power Grid Corporation of India Limited transmission lines. Then again at the distribution point, it is stepped down to 33 kV transformers. So this is the. And in all the here another point is there. Suppose company is not having the adequate coal, they have to produce from the market, and the electricity cannot be stored. So there is a link to the grid. either the state grid or national grid, there's a link of the captive power plants, power generation to the grid. Because if there's a excess generation of power, then they can supply to the grid. And if there's a less generation of power and power is required, and they're generating less power at home in comparison to the requirement, in that case, they have to import the power from the grid. So there is a linkage to the grid, state grid or national grid, and with whom they are having the link, there must be some power purchase agreement with the concerned company. And here one thing happened in some year, there is accrued, and most of the company of NTPC, those are the auditors of NTPC, and because we are the auditors of NTPC earlier. We have also seen, similarly, we are also auditors of some power trading company, state and center. We know there is always less PLN, traveling factor. Because plant is running less than the requirement, less than the capacity, because there is a adequate shortage of coal. That's why plant is not running to their full capacity. So that is most important. If power is not available, even difficult for the aluminum plant to survive. Because in that case, they have to import the power at a high rate. Instead of generating at their own for the captive consumption, they have to import the power from the grid at the higher rate. It's very difficult for them to survive. So these are prerequisites. Captive power plant and bauxite mines are the prerequisites of aluminum industry. If these are two are there, good quality of coal for the captive generation, good quality of bauxite, less silica contents for the bauxite refinery, then the company's profit will be touching the sky. You see, in the last point, we have mentioned electrical is stepped up to transformers and supplied directly to smelter pot lines for uninterrupted operation. Because see, if there is interruption of the power, then there is damage to the pot line. Then the product, the input materials, those are in the pot lines. Maybe cathode, there's damage to the cathodes, there is damage to the molten chlorides, and damage to the alumina. So that's why that is an uninterrupted operation. It's a continuous operation. So like SMS, suppose here company having some surplus port lines. So sometimes they do, they run some port lines and they give standby some port lines. In captive power plant also the same thing happened. Suppose company is having 5 units having 200 megawatt each, 200 megawatt power plant. So they will keep some unit idle, and by that time they will go for the repair maintenance, idle maintenance. They will do the idle maintenance so that anytime there is no power interruption, supplying power to the aluminum plant, smelting plant. I discuss this thing: coal, boiler, then from the boiler, turbine, steam is moving the turbine, then power generator. We have discussed. After turbine moves, then power is generated at 11 kV power generator, then transformer. They step up to the 132 kV transformer, then distributed to aluminum smelter plant. We discuss another important cost center, that is anode. Anode consists of 3 parts. One is green anode, then baked anode, then rodded anode. Like our bridge preparation, those are seeing the bridge preparation from the earth, from the clay, we are preparing the bridge. Similarly, petroleum coke and coal tar, which are crushed, ground, mixed, and molded into blocks. So these are blocks. Green anode is blocks of blocks mixed with the petroleum coke and coal tar. When so the green anode prepared, it is baked to gain strength and electrical conductivity. Then one rod is inserted, that is fitted with steel rods and cast iron sockets to enable electrical connection. Then rotted anodes are installed in reduction cells and contribute to the electrolytic reduction of alumina. So they are installed in the pot lines. These anodes are installed in the pot lines through which the electricity will be passed. So, like other items, here there's a raw metal preparation like petrol coke and coal tar. From that, there is green anode prepared. Then it is baked at 1100 degrees centigrade. Then a rod is inserted to prepare the rod and anode. Then this is installed in the pot line. So there is also some catch point here. In the process of green anode preparation, if the mixture is not to the required quantity, then ultimately what will happen? It will break. That will break. Then anode will be lost. Then again that has to be mixed in the equal proportion or the required proportion. Similarly, in the baked portion, if the temperature is fluctuating, it will not, the anode will not be properly baked. So that is also seen. So these are the all points: green anode formation, baking, roddy. So these three things. There's some catch points also. The company when go for this, they want to see whether some extra cost is incurred for this three activity. So these are the major cost centers. One is coal mine, then bauxite mine, hydrate, that is alumina hydrate, alumina hydroxide. You can term it as alumina hydroxide, alumina, powder form, then steam. Steam is required to convert hydrate to alumina. Steam is also required to convert to the net power. Green anode, baked anode, rodded anode, then hot metal. From hot metal, we are preparing these basically four products, end products. Company is preparing the regular products. And from the regular products, if they are going by the value-added products, they are anodizing or alloying, or they are also preparing roll sheets. The mine cost sheet, if you go by the mine cost sheet, here are the major components. Sure, what is happening? This is the standard cost sheet, what we are following while doing the cost audit. Fixed capacity, capacity utilization, production, opening stock, stock assessment, issue for expansion, capital consumption. Expansion means suppose there is expansion going on, so there is also issue for the expansion, and that is booked at the project cost. The company is having their own lines and own infrastructure to drill, blast, and extract the ore from the motor arc. So here, they are all costs they are incurring. One is power is required, electricity transmission are purchased. Then there are salary wages, employee costs. All the salary wages are captured here, and because they are following FICO module. So all the salary wages, manpower are segregated at both the cost centers. So salary and wages and other incidental benefits are linked to the manpower, linked to the employee code, and booked in the constant cost center. R&M, factory overhead, administrative overhead. M&R means mines and refinery. The corporate office salary is added at the end, factory overhead salary. Here the salary and wages. Then direct expenses, transportation to refinery, consumables, royalty, district mineral fund, that is DMF. You know that the company those are manufacturing the ore, those are extracting the ore, mining companies, they have to pay three types of payment to the government. One is NMT, National Mineral Exploration Trust, NMT, that is certain percentage that is fixed, and on which value that will be paid, that is also determined by the IBM. So, National Mineral Exploration Trust, NMT. Second is royalty fixed by the government from time to time on the basis of ore for the various kinds of ore, and the percent also fixed on the grade of ore. For the bauxite, there is 3 to 4 types of royalty on the basis of grade. Then DMF, District Mineral Fund. The company has to pay some money to the District Mineral Fund. So royalty, DMF, and NMT are 3 major expenses those are paid to the company for those are paid to the government by the company. Those are extracting ore. R&D expenditure, quality management, pollution control. They are the direct expenses company is considering in the cost sheet. Raw material. So your raw material, if you see raw material means raw material for HMM. Heavy earth moving machinery, HMM like dumper, dozer, shovel, drag liners, and other HMM. Those are used for the mining process, the repair maintenance. Definition of such HMM, then production overhead, cost of conversion, and if you see the cost structure, basically there is no input material because your input material is the mother earth, and we are extracting the ore from the mother earth. Company is having the mining rights, company is having the mining lease. So your power cost is about 1%. And mostly your employee cost is more, 17.15%, because the drivers, the helpers, the other people those are involved in the mining process, supervisors, mining officers, all are recruited by the company to oversee, to supervise, to regulate, to drive the mining operations. That's why the cost is more here, about 17.15%, or we think of 18%. Then power cost is 1%, 19%. When come to direct expenses, what it's got your transportation, consumables, royalty, DMF, R&D, quality control, all the things, they constitute about 62%. So here the cost is more because royalty has to be paid by the company at the time of dispatch. So royalty cost is more. Royalty cost constitutes about 46%. So by the time up to 63%, 46% cost is from the royalty, and the royalty cost is more here. So direct expenses is 62.78%, and repair maintenance is 3.73%. So what is within our control? Which cost is within the control of the company? You see, in RN, 3.73%, about 4% they are spending on R&M. We'll discuss. We have given some observation while doing the audit in the mining sector for this company. In the observed slide, we'll discuss. So there is every possibility. There is a possibility that the cost is incurred more in the R&M. There is no control of the company on the R&M of the HMM. That's why cost is more. We'll discuss in detail in the observation slide. So again, come to depreciation. Depreciation about 9% because the HMMs are owned by the company. So repair maintenance and depreciation constitute about 13%. Employee cost about 17%. So it's 30%. Power cost 1%. 31%. Then come to the overhead about 7%. Since all the infrastructure facilities is owned by the company, man, machines, your overhead is also more. Hydrogen cost sheet. We'll discuss hydrogen cost sheet. In hydrogen cost sheet, we discuss the bauxite cost. We have discussed 46% in the first slide. Cost structure breakup. We have seen the metal cost about 46%. So in that bauxite is about 35%. Then caustic soda. Caustic soda companies are importing, and also Indians they are also purchasing. Lime is required. Coal required for the preparation of steam. Then LDO, HFO, high oil, light diesel oil, then others. So these are the ingredients, these are the input materials, those are used for preparation of aluminum hydrate. So if you see the cost structure, total material consumption will be about 75.38%. What I have observed, about 75% is the cost of materials in the aluminum hydrate. So out of that, only bauxite constitutes about 21% and the caustic soda constitutes about 35%. Here caustic soda consumption is more because silica content is about 5%. We discuss if the silica content is more, in that case, the company has to use more caustic soda. And caustic soda is very costly item. So the company has to see whether the caustic soda is purchased diligently and after production of hydrate, to what extent the caustic soda is recovered. We have discussed in 7 phases, the red mud is washed, and after final stage, red mud is settled and sent to the mud pond, red mud pond, and caustic soda is recovered. We have discussed in our previous slide, while discussing about the caustic soda, major ingredient of hydrate. The bauxite and caustic soda are the major ingredient of aluminum hydrate, so which constitutes about 55% out of the 75% material cost. Then coal. Coal is required for the steam and coal is required also. So coal is about 17%. So here caustic soda, coal and bauxite is also required. And if cost control, if you see the cost control parameters, bauxite should contain less silica. Caustic soda should be procured and used diligently and recovered at the end of the process, hydrate process. And coal is of good grade, maybe 0 to G11 or G12. Power is also required. About value by 3.48%, 4% power is required. Then if you see the other cost components, like employee cost is about 12.76%. So here material cost is about 75%, employee cost is about 13%. So it is about 75 plus 13, 88%, and power is about 4%. So 92% cost, material, manpower, and utilities. Alumina. So this is the process costing from oxide to aluminum, aluminum hydrate, then alumina. So till alumina, there might be some captive consumption, there might be some sale between sale, like alumina hydrate must have been sold or ore have been sold. So these are alumina cost sheet. In alumina cost sheet, hydrate is transport. From aluminum hydrate is transport, cell manufactured, LDO indigenous, HFO indigenous. So your cost is the components are very less. Only cost is required here, the aluminum hydrate and steam, which is required to calcine the alumina or to make the powder from the liquid form. The power cost sheet. Material consumed here is the coal, then process materials, utility power purchase. If there is a power purchase other than the power generation, direct employee cost. Then here are the cost components. If you see the cost components pattern, about 70% is the coal and 2% is the fuel. LDO and HFO is 2% and coal is 70%. So 70% is the material and power components for generation of the power. Now other constitutes about repair maintenance, 5 to 6%. It includes the repair of boiler, repair of turbine, repair of other ancillary conveyor system, metal handling system, coal mill. So about 5 to 6%. And employee cost is about 15%. because here there is no outsourcing system, and most of the about 95% areas, 90% company people are engaged on the payroll. Small areas have been outsourced, like housekeeping or other organizations outsourced, but mostly people are from in-house, maybe contract employee or maybe on the payroll. The green anode. You see here, green scrap generated and scrap consumed. We have discussed while preparing the green anode, there is some defects in the size or in the shape of the anode. That's why that is discarded. So to the extent that is discarded, that is mixed with the fresh mixture and is also consumed. If the generation is more, then there are some defects, the company to finish. See, green paste generated, green scrap generated, and green scrap consumed, green paste consumed, anode board consumed. This is material breakup here. CP coke and CT pitch are the two major materials, raw materials required for anode preparation. And in anode cost sheet, if you see the total cost structure, in the final green anode, when baked, it is baked, then rotten anode. If you see the total cost structure, 9% is about the material cost. 9% is the material cost. The balance cost is for the alloying materials and the other purchased materials and other expenses like employee cost, rent expenses, and repair maintenance. Then finally, we'll come to the hot metal, where the alumina is converted to aluminium in the pot line to the electrolytic process, and we get the hot metal from which we are preparing the end products. In the hot metal, basically alumina from refinery, alumina were received from refinery, then anode consumed, then aluminum fluoride. We have discussed about the cryolite bath, aluminum fluoride, which is required to be kept in the pot line. Then LDO is required, power. So these are the major cost components. So we see the material components, it is about 46.09%. About 47% is the cost of the materials, input materials, 47%, and power consumption is about 40%. So finally, we are utilizing material, process material, plus some new material. Like process material means calcium alumina is process material, and we are also including aluminum fluoride, plus anodes and powers. All these things constitute about 88%. 57% is the material cost, 40% is the power cost. About 88% is the cost to the total cost of production of a hot metal.
हेलो
हाँ सर,
बीच में बंद हो गया इधर तरीके सर, ये हो गया था
बंद हो गया नहीं तो are you hearing
अगेन
me?
इट हैज स्टार्टेड ऑन. हाँ वही. ओके ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम. नाउ आई एम सेइंग इट. ओके
Okay sir, thank you sir. So we are discussing about the hot metal. In hot metal is the final molten products of aluminium, from where the molten aluminium is tapped, transported to the cast house, and end product is prepared. For preparing hot metal, the composition of cost, the cost structure, The material is about 47% and power is about 40%. In 47% of material, we are considering the calcium alumina, aluminum fluoride, and anodes. Similarly, in the power we are receiving from grid or captive consumption or the outside grid. So about 88% is the total cost. 80% is the cost to the total cost of production of molten aluminum. You see, all these are the costs come like factory overhead, others, addition overhead, others, S&P, army overheads, corporates. S&P is smelting and power, smelter and power. The rolled products. After hot metal is prepared, it is transported to the cast house. Prepared the rolled products. So we are discussing about the cost centers, starting from mines and at the rolled products of the cast house. So now we come to the list of sub cost centers. Like we know in the costing terminology. First, there are some cost centers. Those are the production cost centers. Then service cost centers. So in production cost centers, the costs are allocated directly to the respective cost centers. But if there is a common cost in two cost centers, between two cost centers, so I am giving the example of alumina refinery plant, where there is a alumina hydrate is prepared, and at the same time alumina is prepared, calcined alumina is prepared. So two cost centers on one floor. So if the cost is for hydrate, the cost are to be directly allocated to the hydrate in a respective cost component like material, like repair maintenance, like employee cost, that will be directly allocated to the cost centers and for the cost components. Similarly, the cost will be allocated directly to the calcined alumina. For example, there is a shop floor which is catering the needs of hydrate product and alumina product. In that case, the common cost will be apportioned between the apportion to the cost calcined alumina and the hydrate on suitable basis. So that's why what we call the sub cost centers. So we are taking at the sub cost centers. For example, I'm giving an example of in one plant, under one roof, there is electrical department, there is mechanical department, there is your civil department, there is electronics department. Suppose there is a traffic system, those taking care of the receiving the raw materials and dispatching the finished products, traffic departments. These are the sub cost centers under the one floor on in one plant. There is some cost centers. So similarly, the cost related to those cost centers will be captured in the sub cost centers, and the total cost of that sub cost center will be apportioned to the respective cost centers, beneficiary cost centers, through basis. We define the cost accounting policy of the organizations. So now coming to the, we have mentioned here some cost centers like hospital, township. So while doing the cost audit, not on the cost reduction or cost control mechanism we see at the cost centers. At the same time also we see if any cost can be saved, if any cost can be controlled in the sub cost centers. We will see some example in the observation sheet. So first of all, see hospital in the cost center, sub cost center, township. The terminology that is cost center. We are consider the service cost center. Service cost center. In the previous slide, you have discussed about the person cost center. These are service cost center. Sub cost center I have mentioned. These are service cost centers. So hospital, township, railway traffic, civil maintenance and water supply, electrical, mechanical, school, club, guest house, central stores, raw material handling, security. Then another point I have left here, that is quality control. That is also one concept, because quality control takes care of quality control takes care of both input and output material. So I have left here. So you can also add to this slide quality control department in the concept. Another is there OAPs, where the input material is OAT and the dispatch material also OAT. That is OAP. So I have left here 2 points. One is OAPs, another is quality control. So you can also add And I will add this, and while sending the slide to WSC, I will add these 2 points here, and I will send to you. They are the sub cost centers. So like cost center, these are the cost center, the sub cost centers or service cost centers. So that is direct labor. Then utility, maybe some electrical, some power consumption is there. So electric charges, water charges, labor charges, admin charges, consumables. So repair, some small machines must be there, maybe there. So there's a repair maintenance, depreciation of those machines, the consumables. So these are the cost of the service cost center or sub cost centers. So these are captured and on suitable basis that is apportioned among the beneficiary cost centers or beneficiary portion cost centers. Now we know all about the alumina and bauxite, alumina and aluminum manufacturing or smelting, what you can name it. By this time, we know the process of manufacture, about the aluminum, about the alumina, about the process of manufacture, about the ingredients, about the cost center, about the cost control and cost reduction mechanism at each cost center point, and how the materials are moved, how the power is required, and to what grade the material will be used, to what extent the power will be consumed. So all the things you have discussed. Now come to the our topic of the today's webinar. Time is very short now. It is approaching out 5. So I have to go very quickly because we are sitting here since last 1.5 hours. So the approaching cost audit, what the roadmap, all the things because I think all the members that are here, almost all have done the cost audits. So before starting the cost audit, we collect the engagement letter because before engagement letter, all the paraphernalia everybody knows either to the explanatory test asked by the company or by the personal calling, cost audit is appointed. So before starting, the auditor has to collect the audit engagement letter. So after getting that, we have to move to the plant. We have to see the organization chart, manufacturing process and process flow chart because cost audit is a techno-financial activity. So we are when somebody asks me what the difference between cost and chartered accountants, I always tell them cost accountants are the surgeon, chartered accountants are the doctor. So these are the difference between chartered accountant and cost accountant because they prescribe the medicines and after doing the analysis, but cost auditor the report after analyzing all the events, analyzing all the operations, and analyzing all the functions. So we are surgeons. So always you think that you are surgeons. So before starting the audit, you have to examine, you have to analyze, you have to understand, you have to clearly think about what you are going to do and what is your role. Then you can go for the audit. So before that, you have to know the manufacturing process and process flow chart. If you know the manufacturing process and flow chart, almost all the things you will cover by that time. Because you know where there is a catch point, where you can verify what the documents you can verify for the cost control, how the stock is where the stock is valued. I am giving the example. Two companies we are naming. I am giving the example of two companies. Both are government companies. One company is having coal mines. They are giving the coal mines on MDO. MDO means mining developer and operator. They are given to MDO, coal mine. So from the coal mine, when the coal is extracted, before transportation start in the mines area. So there, one valuation is there. When that is transported to the plant, so transport cost is added. So if the truck or transport vehicle is on the way at the end of the year, then the valuation will be different. Cost plus transportation. When it is receiving at the plant. When the stock is received at the plant, the sampling is done, oilment is done, quality control is done. At that time, the right quantity, right quality of stock, whether received or not, according to the value is done. So that means if the company is given MDO, there's two types of valuation because the company is having the mining rights, company is having the lease, company is the owner of the mines. So valuation has to be done in 3 phases. One at the extraction point, one is the second point at the transportation point, third at the receiving point. Similarly, but another company what they are doing after getting the material right quantity and right quality of material at the dispatch point, they are doing the valuation of the stock. That is wrong. So when we have to see the company, when we are doing the audit of a company, any company, those are having mines, and the mines is given to the MDO, mine developer operator or mines operator, maybe MO or MDO. In that case, the valuation will be done as for the step by step method, because the company is the owner. Company is given on contract basis. Or is extracted means company has got some kind of material. So values are done in 3 pages. Similarly, at the time of mining, company, at the time of mining, company having some grade of material, some grade of ore. Company not going by the some grade of ore is soluble, not regularly, but at the time of requirement or at the scarcity of main high grade material for grinding purpose. So in that case, company had to value all the materials, taking some clues from what the valuation mechanism followed by the peer companies compared to take the valuation and the value the all grades of material. So that's why I told when the manufacturing process, documentation flow, and the process flow chart you understand, your 50% audit is over. Then audit program, you all know that. Then come to the cost accounting manual. Also, company they prepare the cost accounting policy. I've seen in big PSUs recently. We got audited 2 big PSUs of our country. But it is sorry to say that they are not having the cost accounting manual. Though they are having the PICO module, but all the costs are not captured. All the costs are not captured machine wise, and at least at the end they are the different in the reconciliation statements. So it is better to link the cost accounting manuals in cost accounting manual, the chart of accounts to be linked to the cost codes. Basically in FICO, those are doing the audit in FICO module, the code is linked to finance GL code, then cost code. But in most of the cases, where the FICO module is there, but cost codes are not linked to the GL code. For the idea, so that we have to see. Then cost centers, we have discussed operational cost centers, service cost centers. Then cost account records. Cost account, whether the company is maintaining records on concurrent basis or at the end of the year, because though there is a mention in the CRA 1.5 monthly, quarterly, and annually, it means company have to maintain the cost records. It may be maintained on monthly basis or quarterly basis. We have to suggest the company to maintain the cost records on regular basis. Until the company maintains the cost record on regular basis, how can you know the glitches? How you can know what are the intricacies in the cost records? What are the intricacies and what are the glitches in the cost control mechanism? So company has to maintain the cost records on regular basis. Again, the cost becomes in the piece and variable. Why I am telling that? You see, in aluminum industry, when the hot metal is there and it's sent to the cast house for preparing the cast products like sow ingots or billet or wire rods, in that case, if the cost is separate, then company can see what the break point. Because in cast house, for all the ended products, there's some machines are there. Some manpower also invest. Some kind of repair maintenance, some kind of electric consumption, fixed cost is there. So, unless until the fixed variable separated, it is very difficult for the company to find out the breaking point and to find out the profit margin, because company cannot increase the sale price. Company has to control the cost only. If there is a less, if the capacity utilization is less, company is producing less. In that case, company has to drive out the manpower to some other location. The manpower, the fixed cost here. Then statistical information that which is at the top of the cost sheet, like install capacity, normal capacity, IT capacity, capacity achieved or actual production percentage, and plant stoppage hours, the region of and plant stoppage hours, you have to see the region of stoppage. So then audited annual accounts, annual report, intra audit and physical verification report, budget copy, and budgeting control system. All the things are the basic needs before starting of the cost audit. So what are the intricacies? Basically, It is very difficult for the cost auditor to know some for the new cost auditors or new auditors for a new for the company first time. So they have to know some terminology when they are doing the audit. So for the mining plan are to see, because in mining plans there is a mining site indication, description, that have to see the mining capacity, EC capacity, then ECP capacity. You see, we are describing the mining capacity and EC capacity here. Because in iron industry, if companies are having two mines, captive mines, one for bauxite and second is coal mines, then this mining capacity and EC capacity mostly required. Then stripping ratio in calculation of production, like there's a course of 123. Prepared Institute of Cost of India. You can see the overall wall, the stripping ratio. Whether the company is properly preparing the stripping ratio, whether stripping ratio is as per the mining plan, or there is a variation. If suppose there is a ratio of 1:4, 4 MT of overburden, 1 MT of raw material, or 1 MT of ore, 4 MT of overburden is mentioned in the mining plan. But while production we found, while from the production record we found, there is a 5 MT of overburden, 1 MT of ore. When there is a variation in the actual in comparison to the mentioned in the mining plan. In that case, you have to draw the attention of the management, or you have to suggest the company for the revision of the mining plan. Because mining plan is revised once in 5 years or once in 3 years as per the original sanction. So mining plan is revised. So in that case, we have to see the stripping ratio. The ratio mentioned in the stripping mining plan is achieved or there is some variation. Then OBR policy. OBR, overall removal, like I am giving one example, in overall removal, company has to create, in the pre-production activity, company has to create some space where the overburden will be placed. For example, there's a bench or there's a step removal. Suppose 5 kilometers is in first phase, 1 kilometer is overburden is removed, then the topsoil will be kept in one place. That the place should be sufficient. Looking at the requirement of the overburden, the place should be sufficient. I have seen in one mines of the coal India, what they have not created the adequate space for the overburden, keeping the overburden. So when the overburden is piled there is no space for keeping the overburden in that place. They have created another space in one place, and they have shifted the overburden from the first place to second place. So there is an internal shifting of the overburden. So by the time company has paid extra transportation cost, because if the company could have created more space for keeping the overburden, no second transportation could not have taken place. So that is the thing we have to see. And basically, in the second, where there's a step or bench extraction, in that case, the second when the second step overburden is removed, that will fill the black space. In the first step overburden portion, that will backfill after over extraction. So that's the policy. The policy of overburden varies from company to company and go to over. Next comes the overhead absorption policy. So we have discussed in the previous slide about the fixed and variable overhead segregation. That is mostly essential because company has to see whether there is a profitability and the company is achieving the BEP. So that are because we have no control of the selling price of any product of aluminium. So we have to go by the LME. So overhead policy will be there. Overhead distribution among the location. I am giving the one example in Nalco. They are on thumb rules that they are distribute the overhead between the hijack port and refinery transport cost. Suppose there is a ore handling system. There is a own wagon and own engine, and that is taking care of transporting the alumina or hydrate to the hijack port and keeping and taking some input material from the hijack to Ramanjodi. So there is a infra system, merry-go-round system. So taking hydrogen and aluminium from the Damodari to Vizag, and from the Vizag they are importing raw materials and other input materials coming to Damodari. So in that case, the cost of the traffic system, the cost of that like that means the engine, drag line, and payment made to the railways and other driver salary and other costs should be distributed on certain basis. So in administration they are not put on some basis, so they are taking 60-40 or 30-40 or 30-70 or 60-40 distribution ratio. So we have suggested it should be adequate and on certain basis that have to be taken care of. Like I am giving the example of importing material or exporting finished products. So in that case, it has to be calculated on like our I am telling prior to 2011 when we are auditing the industry specific, when we are following the industry specific cost audit rules, some basis kilometer run or quantity handled or any kind of that or running hours. Like there are three bases are there: quantity handled, kilometer covered, or running hours. On the three bases, the cost of transportation should be included in the raw materials and the finished products. We have also suggested them. Overhead absorption policy, overhead distribution among the location, the soft flow stock consumption. What is happening in some companies when there is a requirement, they are issuing to the they are sending requisition to the company to ask for the document from the store. So stock is issued, but stock is consumed. So stock is lying at the shopper for the consumption, future consumption. When it is issued, this to another consumption. So at the end of the day, it was maybe some few crores of stock was remaining idle and shop floor. So that will be valued at the end of the day or end of the year. The CapEx and OpEx is a vital point. When we are going for the any capital expenditure, we have to see whether the operational expenditure on the same item is reduced or not. Suppose the company is going to add some units for the power generation, new units for the power generation. In that case, the old plants, those are having less PLF, less idle time, less breakdown, more breakdown, more breakdown, more fuel consumption, and less PLF. That will be discarded if the company is able to generate power in the new. Otherwise, what will happen? We have seen in some companies, suppose companies having power generation plants. So there are no mechanism to see how much coal is consumed by the X unit, how much coal is consumed by the Y unit, how much fuel is used by the X unit, how much fuel is used by the Y unit. Because the coal and fuel both are vital for the thermal power generation plant. Fuel means LDO or HFO. So if the coal consumption, fuel consumption is not captured unit wise, in that case it will be difficult for the company to know the efficiency of the machines, efficiency of the unit, to what extent of the material is required, to what extent the fuel is required to generate one unit of power. So that's why company had to go for the when company going for the CapEx. At the same time, you have to see at the same component maybe repair maintenance because depreciation will be more. At the same time, repair maintenance will be less in the same category of machines, same category of line item of the cost. Cost allocation and apportionment. We have discussed cost and wise. Contractors agreement, mining developer and operator. We have discussed mining operator. We have discussed. Because in some cases, what is happening, though the mines is given to the MTO or MO to operate the mines, to develop and operate the mines, to remove the overburden, to extract the ore, and to dispatch to the plant. In that case, there is also company is also having a responsibility to ensure whether the MTO or mining operator is operating as per the mining plan or as per the agreement. What is happening sometimes in the mining plan, there is a progressive mine closure. The MDO or MO, whether they are going for the company is provisioning for the mine closure as per the mining plan. Whether the activity with regard to the mining closure is conducted by the MDO or MO that has to be seen by the company. Otherwise, what will happen? There is a violation of the norms, violation of the mining plan norms, and company will be penalized. Not only penalized, in the first year, the cost will be more, but there is no activity. Without activity, the cost will be booked. That has to be seen by the company. Then RPT and valuation and other related issues that have to be seen while now we'll discuss about the common cost treatment. We have discussed quality control because sampling, taking sample, the analysis done at the heat point, when the material is received, material is processed, material is reprocessed, the finished product obtained, or the material is dispatched. At each point, the sampling is done. So quality control is a common department, though they are having small office at each cost center, but as a control department of the quality control. So the cost related to quality control, say quality control, there are some equipments or apparatus, the cost of those, and your manpower cost, the chemicals, reagents, this cost, and other electricity and other related costs of the quality control department should be apportioned to the beneficiary cost center or the related cost centers on suitable basis, and that basis should be disclosed in the cost accounting policy. Because there is a point in the cost accounting policy whether the company is following the cost accounting policy, same cost accounting policy, or any deviation. And if that is clearly mentioned in the cost accounting policy, so that excess and adequate cost can be, and then we can compare the comparative cost can be obtained. So then OA bridge, we are discussing about the OA bridge. OA bridge, when we are receiving the material at the OA bridge, in OA bridge there is a mechanism. Nowadays you can see the mechanized OA bridge. So there are some equipments and computerized systems and some systems are there, manpower is there, electricity there. So OA bridge cost will be also common cost. That how that is treated, that is also disclosed in the cost and policy. Similarly, railway sidings and railway facility and railway traffic cost. We have discussed regarding the common the share application among the beneficiary cost center like by port and refinery. We have discussed reduction cost, similar share service, common cost, more like payables or some arbitrary kind of things, share service or housekeeping like that cost. Exploration, another thing is most important exploration. You see, there are two types of exploration. One is exploration while at the initial phase, taking the mining lease, and secondly, during the course of production activity. So once the exploration is done, then drilling and blasting is done. So exploration means core drilling and blasting. Core drilling means that the triangle shape drilling. It means you can say triangle shape. So that it will go to the depth, that the explosion will be the depth, and again horizontally it will be core drill, and if the explosion activity taken place maybe within a span of 3 to 4 years, once in 3 to 4 years. But the company, what they are doing, they are taking and the cost is too high, and they are considering the explosion cost in the same year when the explosion activity taken place. So we have discussed with the company, and we have seen the last few years exploration activity, and we have seen the exploration activity happens once in a 3 to 4 years. So when again the company, let us spread the cost to the 3 to 4 years, because exploration is vital before the drilling and blasting. So let us spread the cost 3 years instead of taking the cost in 1 year. Utilities, electricity, water, fuel, and basically, if you can see in some companies, there though there is a mechanism, either there is a mechanism, but sometimes there is no mechanism also. How to distribute the electricity, water, and fuel among all the user centers. We are discussing the cost centers and sub cost centers, but when it is coming to the cost components, say example, manpower. If the manpower is giving a ID, the cost related to, and that ID is linked to the module, HR module is linked to SAP module or any module, then what the cost the company is incurring for the employee, that will be tagged to the cost centers, maybe cooperation cost centers, maybe service cost centers. But other than the employee cost, if you see the consumption of power, suppose company having the own consumption in the power plant, that is a direct utility cost as per the costing terminology. If that is consumed in the floor or the ancillary departments or service cost centers, that will the consumption in the electricity cost will be charged to the service cost centers. Suppose consumed by the township, so it will be charged to the electricity charges will be the cost of the township. Suppose cost electricity is consumed in the administrative office, the electricity cost will be that township administrative building will be in the cost of administration cost sheet. Sometimes there is no mechanism, either there is no meter or the meter is there, but in total that is not reconciled. So we compare the total input and total output, that's not matching. So we have suggested one company to go for the energy audit to see whether the electricity consumed in all the categories has been tapped and reconciled. So watch and word means company is outsourcing the activity to watch and word of the mines area, for the refinery area, for the smelter area, for the township, for the guest house, for the clubs, for the roads, for the school. So there are also some other activity, gate pass, quality control, dispatch, bridge. Most of the places the watch and word activity there. So how the watch and word will be cost will be apportioned to or allocated to or apportioned to various cost centers. So we have advised the company when we are outsourcing the activity, there is a purchase order. How many watchmen or how many supervisors will be there in which location? So on the basis of number, you have to apportion the cost to the respective cost sheet where the watch and word is deployed. Township cost, usually township includes your club, edit club, schools, or hospital or PSC, and staff quarters, transit house, training hostel, like that. So that cost will be identified. So what are the components of the township cost that will be identified? The manpower engaged, electricity consumed, all will be identified. And if there is some recovery, suppose in some cases there is recovery from the employees towards use of the house, or towards electricity charges, or towards water charges, or towards club rent, or towards school fees. In that case, the total the recovery will be deducted from the total cost, and the remaining cost will be apportioned to the respective cost centers on suitable basis. And whatever the basis the company is following, whatever the basis the company is apportioning, the basis company is allocating, in that case, all the things will be disclosed in the cost accounting policy. That should be our motto. Now come to the employee benefits. There is a dispute among most of the companies and the cost accountants because I don't know what others are treating. I'm doing one thing within 5 minutes. I am completing so that we'll have a question answer session. So employee benefits, both the companies there is a disagreement between the companies and auditors and auditors. I am citing the spirit of CS7, cost accounting standard 7, and employee cost, what is mentioned in the CRA 1 Rule 5 of the company's cost audit and record 2014. Please go carefully the spirit of the CS7. All the direct and indirect benefits. What are the benefits? Suppose to me, the employee is staying in the staff quarter. So the staff quarter cost means repair maintenance and depreciation cost of the staff quarter should be part of the employee cost to me. That's what my understanding. But in some cases, they are treating no, these are the administrative expenses that is required for the company. If there is no quarter, how the employee will stay, this is sales and benefit. So this is what type of administrative kind. So we are considering the administrative operator. So I am qualifying the report. I am giving my suggestion in part 2 of the quarter report, CRA3. The CS7, that is violation the spirit of the CS7. Suppose company is having some school, company has some hospital, and that hospital or school solely for the use of the employees' kids or employee beneficiaries. In that case, to my opinion, cost of that facility, like a hospital, like a school, like club, free of cost. Less if subsidy, then less recovery. So it's part of the employee cost at the employee benefit. Suppose the company is providing subsidized meal, subsidized lunch in the canteen. So in case to me, the cost of the canteen cost of the canteen, less recovery, subsidized amount recovery from the employee, balance amount, net amount will be part of the employee benefit and apart from the employee cost on subsidy basis. So these are the catch area where there is a disagreement between the company and the auditor, auditor and auditor. So there is a in various government commission there is auditor because I am not quoting in some big company that no, sir, the previous year auditor have done this, so we cannot do this. I told go. This is my opinion, and I am going by the spirit of Indians. I am going by the spirit of CS7. I am going by the whether you are having. I have cited one example. For example, two employees. For one employee is staying in the quarter, free of cost, provided by the company. Second employee staying in outside on rented accommodation. The cost is borne by the company. If the rent is forming part of the employee cost, why the quarter cost is not for part of the cost? Then how will compare the two employees cost in one for one umbrella? In one area, you are adding the rented cost for the rent of the house of the employee who is staying outside to the employee cost. In other case, employee staying in free accommodation, rent-free accommodation in the township, and you are not considering township cost, the portion of the township cost to the employee cost, and how you compare the employee cost. So that I have given the example. Still, it is debatable. So I have also given some query to the technical cell no days back. So I think something is coming out, and there is some clarity in the mindset and understanding of the companies and auditors. That's all it. They are the common cost treatment. So there is special attention to the cost items, sponsorship, benefit development. So actually, this slide what I am covering is a minimum 3 hour slide, and even difficult for me to complete in 2.5 hours. So however, I will share the slide to WSC and put on distribution to all of you. So in sponsorship, benefit development, in mining company, when they are operating in some areas where there's some government restriction or government pressure is there, maybe government, if the mining is a government company, so they are paying some money to the government programs that including the cost. They are giving some government sponsor program. But if they are doing some activity beyond that periphery in other areas, but showing in the periphery development, that is showing the cost, that is non-cost. So sponsorship non-cost. Let's come to for mining closure. They are provisioning as per the mine plan, but practically the activity not taken place. So how you can show the mine closure cost? Similarly, inventory and valuation, we have discussed inventory valuation at 3 points. When the company is having the mines and giving on MDO, valuation at 3 stages, but company is doing the valuation until it receives the material. So there is a valuation, royalty, DMF, NMT. So these are the things, the recovery of material, what we discussed about the recovery of cost is from the. So these are items where special attention is required for the company because some components, I cannot tell some components, some components of financial elements, we are showing at the cost components in the cost sheet. That should be avoided. So these are the general observation. Lastly, we will see the observation part. These are end slides. There's a 4 to 5 slides. But this is the starting of the end slide. Depreciation in contract agreement. If I tell it will be 5 to 6 points, but I am telling 1 point. Suppose in one organizations, it was given on MDO, one underground mines. So in that mine, MDO, the contract is not clearly, there is no mention specifically in the contract regarding which nomenclature, which the machine's nomenclature, which type of machine will be used for the extraction. The company was using old machines for which there is a stoppage of production. Whether there is no penalty clause, if the production there is stoppage in the production, there is no penalty clause. That's why there, and there is no specification in the contract. The separation of the separation and grinding of the big size ore to the small size ore. So there's no mention. That's why the company was utilizing manpower to separate the or to size the ore. So that was against the violation against the mining plan. That was there because that is not mentioned in the contract. Contract given to the MDO. There are some violations there. Under recovery, suppose the company had to recover from MDO or MO due to less production, non-compliance to the rules, but that are there. So we have to see that. There's some of explosion cost we have discussed. That will be the cost will be apportioned, cost will be spread into the years for which the explosion is done. Non-cost we have discussed, considered as part of cost of periphery development beyond the periphery of the company or sponsorship or some sponsorship to the some government programs under organization overhead, non-under the mine closure plan, export of domestic sales, branch cost, balance, all the things you have to see. The other objections, general objections you have given to the company, though there is a PICO model, but the cost center code has not been clearly defined, and the cost center codes are not linked to the GL code. So the PICO model we have given an objection in one company. Repeat order, repeat order means suppose the company plotted one tender, and one person only applied and he got the tender. Or after 3%, the 2% rejected and 1% got the order. So when company is going to give the repeat order, when company give to the repeat order cannot be given because as per that policy, company had to plot new tender. So without plotting new tender, they have given the repeat order. That you can see. But these are the all. It requires time. While doing the audit, if the fees is sufficient and fees is adequate, then you can cover all these points. And in our audit program, when we are doing the audit of 3 to 4 years, a company or if any one company, then we plan accordingly. In first year, which area will see, in second year, which area will see, and third year, which area will see. So that by the end of third year, if the audit is given for third year, central PSU or state PSU for 3 to 4 years, then by the end of fourth year, we'll cover almost all the area. So that in the first year, we have observed some things in some area or auditing some area. Whether that is covered in the whether that is rectified or that is taken care of with management in second year, we can see. So by the end of 4 year, third year, we cover almost all the points, almost all the areas of a company. Now these are the specific audit objections. All the things I will share with you. If anybody do not understand any points, then can send me mail so that I can clarify each point, because without mentioning company's name, I have given bold, and all these points are related to the aluminum industry, starting from mining till aluminum production and dispatch, domestic sales. You see, underutilization of capacity of value-added products resulting in under-absorption of fixed cost and a decrease in profitability. Example, company has gone for some value-added product, like from the hydrate to special grade hydrate, alumina to special grade alumina, and geolite. These are prepared before smelting, before sending to the alumina plant, smelting plant, aluminum plant. The company prepared some value-added products, but there is no market demand and the cost was too much. So they are unable to sell it to the market if they and it was a loss for the company, and that's why as the cost was more, company unable to sell it in the market, they lost. So many times the machine was remaining idle. So what the company has considered all the fixed cost in the cost sheet. So we have to advise to order the fixed cost. There is no separation of fixed and variable. That's why it was very difficult for the company to follow our suggestion. In some cases, profitability in case of domestic sales is more than the export sales. The company is presently having norms for consumption of coal and respect to alumina. Norm for coal consumption for generation of steam at refinery may be fixed. Based on a suggestion, HFO was substituted for LDO for remelting metal scraps. Earlier, the company was utilizing LDO. However, the switchover may be increased further from LDO to HFO to save on cost. Price difference was about 10,000 per KL. So at the time, the difference of LDO and HFO was about 10,000 per kiloliter. So we have suggested, and company also examined. After that, company after 2 years, company has implemented that, and the company has saved cost by switching from LDO to HFO. Then actual consumption of caustic soda, lime, CGM, bauxite, these are the ingredients. Power, aluminum fluoride is more than the specific consumption. See, company after when we are doing the audit, we are seeing the consumption. We are comparing the consumption, actual consumption with the previous year consumption, and actual consumption with the budgeted consumption. So there is no specific consumption. Specific consumption is fixed for some companies, some elements, not for all. So what is happening? Suppose project consumption was 1.5 kg in year 1. Next year it was in the same year it was 1.6 actual. So without examining the fact why the consumption is more, they were revising the budget in the second year. So budget was increasing year by year without seeing the real reason for increasing consumption. So we have suggested that realistic budgets need to prepare taking into consideration of the technical factors, consumption pattern by the peer industries, grade of input materials. So on the basis of that, company has fixed the specific consumption, capacity utilization, plant load factors of captive power plant has reduced, and as a result, the company purchased more power from grid. So I told you, if there is a inadequate supply of coal, there is a breakdown of a plant, there is a low grade of coal, and in that case, company has to purchase the power from grid. And in that case, company has purchased more power because there is an inadequate supply of coal from the coal mines, or linkage coals. There's a loss of the company. So these are the things. All things are there. So you can go to this. I will share the slide. All these are observations. Our observations of 9 years of audit in one company in phased manner, and this happened in Vedanta. This happened in Nalco. From the 2 areas, we have you see the big size coal. If the coal is of big size, you see the coal sizing issue is immediately intimated to the coal supply agency. They have to give the certain peak. To avoid extra manpower is also deployed to manually break the higher size coal on receipt of to reduce the delay in unloading. So these are the things. Locomotives consumed excess diesel because it was very old. There is no control on the diesel consumption of locomotives. Because of the diesel consumption, they are showing for the locomotives as a total. Suppose company is having 5 loco. So for 5 loco, how much fuel is consumed? They are showing the record. The loco-wise diesel consumption was not there. So it was very difficult for the company to see which loco is consuming how much. And which loco is new, and which loco is old, and old one how much consuming, and new one how much consuming. It was very difficult for the company to consumption spares written up, but at the same time the materials are written up in the 22-23. At the same time, material again procured in the same year without consuming from the balance. Is one catch point. So all these are our observations, maybe 3 to 4 slides. You can go one by one and find out if you are unable to understand. I know you can understand. If you are unable to understand, you can send me mail. My mail is mail ID with WRC. So then I can clarify you better. In the summary, we have discussed already from the beginning till end. Several times we have discussed about this 40% power cost, 40% total metal cost, essential for the captive power plant in improving energy efficiency, operational efficiency, and exploring renewable energy sources to manage these volatile expenses. Process improvements like using different casting methods or implementing closed loop recycling systems to reduce waste. Furthermore, the external factors like global prices and raw material costs are significant. Substantial improvements in profitability and sustainability can be achieved through rigorous internal cost control, operational efficiency, and adherence to cost management best practices. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask. I'll try to explain all of you.
Hello, sir.
Sir,
Sir, how the inventory will be valued, sir? I mean, raw material, which is normally stored in heaps, right?
sir. Actually, I told you, inventory, because company is preparing cost sheet for each product. So the inventory is valued on the basis of cost. Because when we are advising the company for valuation, for example, suppose coal is extracted from the underground. In that case, the extraction cost, like the cost of the say one price, cost of the machines used for the extraction or any manpower engaged. So till that cost will be part of the because all the cost which is extracted that is not transported to the plant, not consumed. So at that point, what is the cost that will be determined by the company. And because for each activity, for each cost, there should be a cost center. If the company is maintaining by following the maintaining the accounts in FICO, then it is better for the company to find out the cost at each stage of manufacture, each stage process of manufacture.
I am asking the raw material, sir, which is stored in heaps, right? So at the
Sir,
period end, at the financial year end, suppose the extracted mines are stored in the heaps, right?
Mhm.
Those how will value based on any specific system like total station method or how the other any such kind of system will be used?
So I'm not getting your point, sir. Please tell me again.
No, this aluminum or raw material is there now.
Bauxite.
Will it be as it is taken extracted from mine and used, or it will be stored in heaps also?
You are telling me about you are asking about the valuation methodology or valuation at what point, what you are asking, sir?
How we quantify the raw material stored at the period end?
Achha. So you see, if the quantity is ore is extracted and stacked at the OI bridge, because at the OI bridge the stock is weighed, na? So the weighment taken place, then it is stacked. So on the basis of weighment slip, you can find out the volume of stock and the cost incurred to that point. You can add to the you can consider the cost with those quantity of material. Sir, you can do one thing, sir. You can, my mail ID, you can note, Niranjan, 13060 @gmail.com. So you can send me your query, so I will rectify. I will clarify you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Niranjan 13060 @gmail.com. Sir.
16060.
13060.
Sir, I am
130.
sending in the chat box, sir,
Okay.
your email
You
ID.
can send, you can share in the chat box so that they can contact me.
Yes, sir. Already shared, sir.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Tell me.
Sir, kindly give your PPT of this presentation to WRC so they can put on their website portal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
yes,
every
sir.
member
Sure, sir.
can
Sure.
easily get it access and can go through it once again.
Yes, no, sir. I told you from the beginning. I'll do some little bit correction because I have deliberated but not space in the slide. I'll make the correction and I'll send to WSC.
I'm also requesting Madam WRC Administrative Madam, please
Yes,
ensure
sir.
that this all PPT webinar PPT should be uploaded on our WRC site so anyone can anytime access it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will
I'm Bhaviska
definitely
from
share, sir.
Ambernath, Madam.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Okay,
Yeah,
noted.
thank you very much.
sir, uh, could you please share some hypothetical figure cost sheet of aluminum industry, sir?
Without naming, I will share. Not today. I will share to WSC.
Okay.
Without
Okay,
naming
thank you.
without naming the company, what I told
Yeah,
the percentage na, because I have
yeah.
noted the percentage in my notebook, and I was telling about the percentage 87%, 40%, 3%. So I will do one thing. The major materials I will the cost sheet I will share
Yes,
without
sir.
naming the company.
And one more question, sir. What is the average cost of production of aluminum, sir? In general, roughly.
Roughly that varies from company to company because I am giving you the example. The bauxite. The bauxite cost in the company for Nalco, I am giving the example Nalco, the cost is more. But Vedanta,
Oh,
they are taken aluminum from OMC. The OMC has prepared some OMC has engaged MDO and the MDO is extracting the bauxite and dispatching to the Vedanta. So that is less. So because that is the catch point because the where there is MDO there is a single contract that includes all the costs other than supervising cost by the company. When the company extracts the ore using its own infrastructure, in that the cost is more because the manpower is fixed. Your machine you have to go for the repair and maintenance because there is a challenge. If and you have to keep some stress machines, extra machines you have to keep. So these are the things you have to follow. So aluminum cost is 1,000 to 1,200 rupees bauxite cost, and it was the conversion cost. It varies. It varies.
and the sale price
In the
is
cost it I will share. In the cost it I will share.
okay, sir. And the sale price is administered price, na? It is not open for companies
Sir,
to fix
I am
their.
telling about the cost of production, not selling price. I am telling about the
Yes,
cost
sir.
of production because selling
Uh,
price is fixed.
yes, selling price is fixed.
Selling price is fixed.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here
Thank you, sir.
only there is a cost accountant have to play vital role in the aluminum industry because only we can have the control of the cost of production.
Very
Yes,
nice
sir.
session, sir.
Sale price is fixed, so it is very difficult to bring a
Very difficult,
company
very
in.
difficult. Only cost control is the only one.
Yeah, cost
Cost
control
control
and
is the only one.
area of cost control is also 80%. I think 40% is your power cost and 40% is your
Material cost, input material like
but,
bauxite and your anode parts and bauxite and your aluminum chloride. Basically, bauxite and
so
anodes.
it is of mostly of the fixed nature. It is
You
difficult
see,
to control.
here in total, it will be difficult for the company to go for the cost reduction or cost control. I am giving an example. Suppose mining activity, company has to see. I am giving one example. In one company, not Nalco, in one company, there is a machine. The cost of machine was 8 crores. 8 crores the cost of the machine was there. So life was 10 years. So company has to place the order for the new machine immediately after 7 years completely because after giving the order, the machine will reach the time lag of 1 year is required for reaching of the machine from the manufacturer to the company. So by the end of 7th year, the company had to place the order. So what happens? Company has no track. So after 8 years, company has not gone for the order. That machine, there are 7 to 8 machines of similar kind. So when the sixth machine was idle, seventh machine was used, seventh machine was idle, fifth and fourth machine was used. So company has no track. So by the time we done the special audit, in last years, it was 9th year, 10th year, and 11th year, because 8th year was the last year, and the life ended at the 8th year. So 9th year, 10th year, 11th year, company has spent 3.75 crores on repair and maintenance for the same kind of machine. Number one, it's here 3.75 crores. Number one. Number two, the fuel efficiency was much more in comparison to other machines. Third, the company was remaining idle for 60% of the requirement. So we have given that in our report. So there is a control. So if the company is FICO module, all the machineries, all the manpower have to link the cost code, link to the cost center. And again, statistical records have to be also linked to the model. Also, statistical records means the idle time, the running time, the region of idleness, so that is shutdown, or the region of shutdown. Whether that type of shutdown can be could have been rectified in the preventive maintenance. So if that is not controlled in the preventive maintenance, then what is the region not controlled in the preventive maintenance? That means due to negligence, the company incurring more cost on the repair maintenance in the due to shutdown. So these are the things. Each point you can have cost control mechanism. Sir.
Yes, sir. But in big companies, mostly they have already adopted SAP or like that ERP system.
Sir, no, sir.
I
No
think-
company. Sir, I have no idea about the private because Vedanta I have done for some alumina kind of things, and very rare, sir.
Yeah.
Even also NTPC you can see in NTPC. So there is a boiler, there is a power plant. But suppose in one unit there are 5 to 6 stages. In each stage there are 2 units. Have they linked each unit to the cost code? No. One stage. In one stage there are 2 machines installed. So they are looking stage wise. Sir, in
Then-
SAP everything is possible. But the harm in booking the cost unit wise.
Yeah.
Because unless and until you are linking the cost code to the manufacturing unit, it will be difficult to control
Yeah.
the cost.
Yes, sir. It
Sure.
is very difficult to assess actual cost.
Sir,
Okay, thank you, sir.
welcome, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Very nice session, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very knowledgeable discussions were there. Thank you, sir. I will contact you, sir, regarding some more questions.
Okay, sir, no issue, sir. You can send me mail. I will clarify. Don't worry.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. I am from Ranchi, sir. I'm from
I know
Coal
you, sir.
India.
I know you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, from CCL, I know, sir.
Yeah, from CCL.
I was the auditor of CCL,
Actually,
na?
yeah,
Last time you
yeah,
were the sir. I know, sir, sir. Sir, sir.
yeah.
Sir, if there is no other question, then shall we conclude the session, sir?
Yes. Very good session it was. Memorable session.
Niranjan, sir,
Tell me.
shall we conclude?
Yes, no issue.
Yes.
You will get more questions, then you can provide to me.
Okay, sir. Okay. On behalf of the Western India Regional Council and the Professional Development Committee of the Western India Regional Council, I extend her heartfelt gratitude to CMA Niranjan Mishra, sir, for his insightful, deeply enriching, and highly valuable deliberation. Sir, your expertise and practical perspectives on the aluminium sector have truly added an immense value to today's session, and we are always grateful for the clarity and depth you brought to the subject. I also thanks to all the participants for joining us today. Our next session on the next Friday on 12th December 2025. I request all the participants to kindly participate. Uh, Also,
Hello.
our Western India Regional Council, the Regional Cost Convention 2026 is on 13th and 14th February 2025. I also request all the members and professionals to be a part of our RCC. I show a video of the RCC now. One second.
Hello,
sir.
madam.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Next Friday, you are saying which industry?
It's a hospital industry, sir.
Hospital. Because yesterday, Friday, that program was cancelled, no?
Yes, sir. It's postponed on 13th, sir.
On 13th, no?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
because we are interested in fertilizer also.
Yes, sir. Fertilizer is on 13th on Saturday, sir, and 12th on hospital industry, sir.
Means on both day, 12th and 13th, we have seminar on.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Every
Madam.
Friday and Saturday, we have continuous series of Nan Satra, sir.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is refreshing our knowledge, madam. Actually.
Sir, I show a RCC video now. One second. All the participants to be a part of our regional cost convention. Now we will officially conclude these sessions. Thanks all of you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
madam.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We will upload this session on our YouTube channel tomorrow. We will share the link of that to all the participants.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank
also
you.
update PPT, sir. ma'am.
Yes, sir. I will share the PPT
Okay.
link also in YouTube channel.
Hello, madam.
Thank you.
Hello.
Okay. Yes, sir.
One more request from on behalf of all our participants. We
Yes, sir.
generally, you please ensure that our webinar should start as soon as possible. 3:35, no problem. Sometimes
Yes,
it
sir.
takes 10 to 15 minutes because some internet issues also making some issues to participant from their level. At their
Okay,
level.
sir.
So,
Noted, sir.
that
Thank
is
you.
the major problem now. We are facing sometimes our internet get disconnected.
Yes, sir.
Okay, madam. Thanks. Very
Okay.
well
Thank you, sir.
managed. Very good. Very good.
Thank
Thank you,
you, sir.
madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It is very remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.